Welcome back to the Solace Show. Robin Donaldson, Dr. Robin Donaldson, as the host for today. For this segment, we are going to be talking with Desiree Vargas, who is sitting to my right, about essential oils. Now, part of the reason that I wanted to bring Desiree on is because my own experience with essential oils and grief was pretty profound. My sister-in-law, my sister-in-law family, when my husband died, gave me something that looked like this at the funeral. And she gave me two essential oil blends. One said courage and one said bliss. And I remember utilizing that, having it just really center me and to bring me in a way that just really focused me during these extremely hard times. So I knew that there was something to this essential oil, and in doing research and looking up things for our boxes, I definitely wanted to include some type of olfactory cue, like the essential oils, either in a bottle form or in a nasal diffuser form. And so we have our own blend called Grief Relief Oil, and I definitely have to thank Desiree for her encouragement in the development of this. So now I'd like to just shift it over and welcome
Thank you
so much for coming on to the show.
I'm so happy to be here, not only just for the show, but I'm just so passionate to talk about this subject and to shine some more light to a definite needed education for everybody.
Absolutely. All right, so tell us a little bit about oils, how you got involved in oils, just a little kind of 411 on the topic.
Well, it all started, I guess, about 4 years ago when I moved to Vegas, and I was out of grad school, and I worked full-time. Never recommend, by the way, anybody go to work full-time and go to grad school full-time. But
it's stressful.
It's very stressful. But I survived, and here I was, about 20 pounds overweight, about to get married, and knew that I needed to change my overall health. So in comes essential oils, and I was really just blown away. I was really blown away. I had a lot of health ailments. I had been dealing with the grief of my mother for many years, and it impacted me so strongly. I almost was mad that I didn't know about this, that I didn't know. I'm an educated person. I'm an educated woman. How do I not know about this? And so I just started researching, just diving in, learning as much as I can learn, attending classes, picking people's brains, and then I thought from the mental health aspect, why don't mental health professionals, it seemed like nobody really had a lot of answers in this realm of holistic modalities. So that's kind of how I got involved, and it kind of has grown in the last 4 years, and my education as well, and what I like to bring to other people.
Sure. Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you're willing to share it on this forum for sure. So talk a little bit now, if you don't mind, about essential oils and emotions, what you know about it and how it can help.
Sure. There's so much great stuff, so I'm going to try to just keep it as simple as possible, right? Yeah. I don't know if anybody is familiar. Now, this is not, I always joke around, this is not yogi talk. This is actual scientific knowledge that we have 3 brains. And so we have our brain in our head, as we know, our heart, and our gut, our belly, our stomach. So a lot of people don't realize that 90% of our gut actually produces, 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut.
Right.
And when we're talking about emotions and grief and all of these things that come with grief, it shines such a huge light to really understand what is going on in the gut, what's going on in the mind and the heart, because we process things. If we experience a loss, we start to process, have emotions and thoughts, which then move into perhaps headaches, migraines. Our body starts to feel things. Our heart feels conflicted, broken. Not to be so morbid, but darkness. There is something that is almost just a black hole feeling. And the gut, sick, not eating, overeating, nausea. Yeah, it just goes on and on and on. So when we experience all these, when we understand these emotions, then I think we understand how to properly use something like a CPTG quality essential oil to help with the functioning of how all these things are running in our body.
It's a really good point. I'm glad that you brought up the physical part, because so often people in grief, they may not recognize, oh, I'm still grieving, or that what's going on with me physically is due to my grief, but they'll notice the physical symptoms. They'll notice that pain and, you know, like a knot in the pit of their stomach, or the tightness in the chest. You know, feeling like they can't breathe. And so that mind-body connection is definitely there. And with something like the oils, that impacts our olfactory part of the brain, it impacts, as you said, the three brains, that it's going to have, like, we can utilize them to make us feel even just a little bit better.
Right. And we'll take that little bit. You know, we'll take that little bit. You mentioned, you know, sometimes the tightness in the chest, feeling like you can't breathe. Literally, there's an oil called Breathe, where, you know, we can take it, use it. We don't even need
doTERRA oil,
CPTG certified, pure, therapeutic grade, especially because not only just working with my other clients who are also mental health professionals and yoga instructors, we need to be using the best quality. So we want to be doing that. So we barely even need a drop if we're feeling that experience or tightness in the chest, if you'd like, Dr. Robin. Just a drop, barely a drop in the palm of your hand, rubbing your palms together, cupping right over your nose. You can close your eyes and just really take in that aroma. So unlock your senses of smell. And I always tell people, just go with what your nose wants, what your brain wants, your heart wants. It knows. So I mentioned the oil Breathe to help if you're feeling the tightness in the chest, to help open the lungs, open the respiratory, which is really, really great to do. And then again, there's so many, if you're experiencing a headache, maybe applying instead to the palms, massaging just into the temples here, just to kind of relieve that tension in the areas that you're feeling, and really have the oils work on a cellular level.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely smelled the mint. I was curious, okay, Breathe. What are the oils within that really help with the opening of the chest? And I know that you can tell me more about this, but mint is definitely in there.
Yes, definitely. Eucalyptus, peppermint, Ravensara. I apologize, I don't have all of them memorized, but it's a blend that is meant to really open up the respiratory, open up the chest. Even if you're just, you know, whether it is experiencing something emotional, or you want to keep in your healthy emotional state before you even go there. So something that you can use for before or even during you're feeling a little bit tightness or any type of stress.
Nice, nice. I like that. Anything with the essential oils that you would need to watch out for, be careful about?
Yes, absolutely. I am so passionate about education first and foremost. There's so many different types of oils are trendy right now, which is a good thing, not a bad thing. Health and wellness is, everybody is, you know, wanting to get into, but there are many different types of grades of oils out there. So it's anything, you want to be cautious. You want to educate yourself with them. So I recommend, especially if you have children in the house, you should always dilute an oil with a carrier oil. And a carrier oil could be something like coconut oil, jojoba, avocado, olive oil, all those carrier oils.
Which reminds me too, my thought is allergies. So if you're allergic to any of that, the carrier oil, don't use it.
Correct.
I recently found out that my mother's allergic to coconut oil. Guess what? That's not going to be a carrier oil that I use.
Right.
But being very aware of that, cinnamon can be very reactive.
It could be a hot oil, right? Oregano, clove, cinnamon. So you always want to dilute these types of oils. And, you know, whether it's somebody like myself who is educated and that's the beauty part. I always joke around. If you go to, you know, a health food store, you can't take home the cashier, but since I'm a professional, you can't, maybe, I don't know if I fit in your pocket, but email, you know, I always keep a really good working relationship with my clients. I run a private Facebook group, keep people educated where they can ask questions. And that's the whole point, because the last thing I want is somebody to explore this route, take home some oils or natural products and not know what to do with them, or have them sit, or use them incorrectly.
So. My thought is that folks in grief they may not have the energy or the memory to to do a lot of the education that you were recommending. And so what would you suggest? What would kind of be some easy go-tos or things that they could rely upon without getting, too far into the rabbit hole as they're busy trying to, deal with the business of death?
Absolutely. So we all are about convenience in general. So
Sure.
I usually have that conversation in general. Sometimes people, they want to call me. Sometimes they want to text. Sometimes they just want to engage online. So I really ask those types of questions. I ask, what would you like? And then you want to watch online videos for education because you're busy. Great, I'll send you those. For convenience factor, there is a great line that doTERRA has made. They're emotional wellness oils, so they're meant for your emotions. They're already diluted with a carrier oil.
Nice.
And they're in a roller ball, which is really, really easy application. So convenience, right? In and out the door, you have the oil, applying perhaps to pulse points, inhaling in, back of the neck, good to go. Throw this in your purse, your briefcase, and they have 5 different oils here. Pardon me, 6. Motivate, cheer, passion, forgive, console, and peace.
Oh, wow.
And it's based on an emotional wellness wheel. So you can kind of look if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling angry. The kit comes with a wheel that really, it's done the work for you. So it really will help you. Which oil do I really need right now? I'm not sure. If anything, go with your nose. Go with what feels good for you. Or if you're just repelled by it, don't use it. Don't use it.
Nice. So. I love it. How convenient is that? The fact that...
Try to be convenient,
yeah. And because, when you're grieving, you can go through a multitude of emotions like within an hour. So you may not want to, layer upon layer, but even just sniffing the roller ball would be great. And that way you always have an essential oil that will fit your emotional need. I like that. I like that a lot.
I carry these with me all the time. So for myself,
it's like emotional first aid.
It really is. That's a great way to put it. Emotional first aid, absolutely. And it's great because you can share it with other people. It's easy. It's convenient. These oils are antibacterial and antifungal. So they're self-cleaning. So you literally, if I roll it on myself, no bacteria or germs are getting spread, and I can share it with my friend if they're feeling down.
That was my thought of
germs,
sharing this with everybody. What's that going to be like? Yes.
Yeah.
And it is, the cold and flu season. But but these are safe. I like that as well because you want to be a giver. Right. And sometimes it's hard if you're having to deal with germs and whatnot. Excellent. You mentioned a couple of ways of using the oils. What are some more?
Great. Well, there's 3 main ways that you can actually utilize the oils. The first way is going to be aromatically, which we are doing right now in this diffuser. This is really great. It's just plugged into an outlet. Water. We want to have drinking water, not from the water tap.
Okay.
And a couple drops, because these are CPTG quality. We don't need very many drops. Maybe 2-3 drops.
So they're very potent, very strong.
Potent. They're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs.
Oh, wow.
So you don't need very much. So I always tell people respect the oils when we're using them.
So they can be a little overpowering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Aromatically right here. We did it earlier in the palm of our hand.
Yes.
That is considered aromatically as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then we have topically. So earlier I rolled the oil right on my skin, that would be topical, or I mentioned rubbing into the temples for the headache, that would be topical. Okay. And then third way, and now this is very important because this is really only for CPTG quality oils, is internal use. So I love carrying oils with me like lime and orange and lemon to take internally. Say, we're trying to stay hydrated. I always recommend, I know it could be overwhelming for everybody to drink at least a gallon a day. I know it seems like a lot, but I know. But this is how we do it. So, a drop of lime, a drop of orange, lemon makes your water taste good.
Yeah, and you've got to be going to the bathroom the entire time.
Yeah, and you're detoxing.
But my thought is that when folks are going through grief, one of the things that is so important is for folks to hydrate.
Absolutely.
Because again, with grief, you're not really thinking about, I need to take care of my body. I'm just so upset. All the fluid fluids through the tears and the stress, people forget to hydrate. And so I like the fact
This
that
helps.
putting in a couple of drops would make the experience a little bit more enjoyable, even though there's not a lot to enjoy at that point in time. But it's good. They're taking care of their bodies by adding a drop or two as well.
The good thing that I like about the citrus oils is that we call them also Zen Happy oils because of
Zen Happy.
I know, right? So there is something about citrus that is very uplifting to anybody. Very, very uplifting. So even just the fact of them opening their water and smelling the lime or the lemon, the citrus, any type of citrus blend, it is uplifting. So that is good for your emotional spirit in general, and like you mentioned, keeps you nice and hydrated. So that's another way that that you can use them internally. You can cook with them. I mean, just as lime, maybe you're making some guacamole or something like that.
And you don't want to go to the store, but you've got the oil.
Yeah. Because the lime, for example, it's going to come from the rind of the actual lime, so it's even more powerful than the lime juice or the lemon. We know how amazing lemon water is to drink. Or for example, peppermint. 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to drinking 28 cups of peppermint tea.
Oh, wow.
If you were to put it into a warm cup of water in the morning, really get your digestive system going, set up right.
That's what I was thinking, the peppermint to soothe the stomach, because nausea can be such an issue with grief, and issues with appetite, either kind of that compulsive eating for emotional comfort or not eating because you're not hungry. So this would help to kind of regulate that.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah. Very, very good compliment. You know, just a few things. Like I said, maybe it's just a drop of peppermint in the water, some lime in the water as well, and just carrying a few of the emotional blends just to help get you through the day.
And what about sleep? Because that's a big issue with folks in grief too.
Definitely. Yeah, there are really great oils. I think we all know how great lavender is. It's very calming and relaxing. Although I do have some other favorites. Serenity is a calming, restful blend. It's a blend of lavender, vanilla, Roman chamomile, ylang ylang. It smells divine. Serenity now, right? We all need some serenity.
I love the names too.
Yeah, so this is going to be a really great one for sleep. You can diffuse it. You can also do it at the bottom of your feet.
Right before you go to bed?
Right before you go to bed. Yeah, so that's when, give yourself a little foot massage, put your socks on.
A little self-care, I like that.
Yeah,
showing
maybe
yourself
put a drop
some
on your
self-love.
pillow.
Put some socks on to help. Does it matter? Or
It
you
doesn't
need
matter.
It
Just I think it's the comforting and the cozy factor, especially in the winter. Just making a little foot massage, put some warm socks on, and hop into bed. So, but this is just one of my oils, favorite oils that I personally use, and a lot of my clients like to use for sleep. But there are so many more, as each oil has, give or take, about 100 uses. So very versatile.
Because that is my thought too. We've talked about the lavender with the Serenity. Serenity is a doTERRA specific
blend.
Product, blend. But people can use essentially just the lavender essential oil if they want, the peppermint, the lime. Any other combinations that you would recommend?
Yeah, I really love frankincense. Frankincense is considered the king of all oils. It has a big association with a lot of people from the Bible, from the Christ being given to the Christ child by the 3 wise men. And it's one of the few oils that could actually penetrate the blood-brain barrier. Oh, wow. So it's an oil that I personally ingest and take internally every single day, but great for mental fatigue if you're going to diffuse it. So for me, my personal grief, I go to frankincense, and I go to a lot of the citrus-based oils, like wild orange and citrus bliss.
Nice, yeah. A good reminder where I'm thinking when you're getting the cog fog that comes with grief, you're just not really focusing very well. It sounds like the frankincense. What about the peppermint? Does that sound like that would be helpful too?
Peppermint
mint does that for me, so.
It is actually really good for memory. And as we know, when we go through grief and we suffer stress, it affects our hippocampus. And years later, we can actually lose our memory, in a sense. So peppermint is really great for memory. So,
love it, love it. Well, thank you, Desiree, so very much for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
How can people get in touch with you?
Facebook is a great way. You can connect with me from Desiree's Guide for a Healthy Mind, Healthy Body, Healthy Living. Instagram, Mind, Body, Soul, Des, and that's a Des Z with a Z.
Excellent.
So, and an email as well, Desiree #4 naturalhealthcare@gmail.com.
Excellent. We'll be providing that information after the show today. All right, well, that is all the time that we have. Remember, next month it'll be March the 5th, so same number. See you then.